Ready to make a difference in the lives of fathers and their families? The Show Up Dad podcast empowers the next generation of dads to lead with confidence and love. Your support and our amazing partners help us to create lasting impact. Consider donating $50, $100, or $250 to provide a dad with essential resources. And speaking of incredible partners, let us introduce you to Tallman Equipment. Since 1952, Tallman Equipment has been standing taller than the rest of competition in lineman tools. They provide top quality equipment and solutions for linemen, ensuring safety and efficiency on the job. If you're in need of reliable and durable tools, look no further than Tallman Equipment. Also, don't forget to check out our online shop at theshowupshop.myshopify.com for high quality products that support our cause. From t-shirts and hoodies, stickers, and even children's clothes, we have something for everyone. Not only will we be showing your support for our cause, but you'll also be getting a high quality product that you'll love. To learn more about what we do, visit theshowupdadfoundation.org. You can also find lineman tools at tallmanequipment.com. Thank you for your generosity, and let's empower dads and build stronger families. In this special episode of Marriage on the Line, my wife and I have the privilege of sitting down with Chanelle and Bryan, a couple who provide candid and heartfelt perspective on navigating through the demands of their daily lives and maintaining a strong marriage. They offer valuable advice on finding balance, supporting each other, and overcoming adversity. Join us for this enlightening conversation that highlights the power of love, resilience, and unwavering support. This is Marriage on the Line, and in this episode, it's going to be sure to leave you inspired and empowered. Let's dive in. Welcome, guys, to our show.
How we doing? Hi.
I just wanted to come on and say thank you guys so much. I know how busy you are, both of you. Bryan, you being a lineman, and Chanelle having 5 children and, running a household. I just want to say thank you so much for taking out this time to come on the show and talk with us.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you for asking us. Yeah, we're honored to that you asked us, because feel like we're just regular little people or workers. I'm a worker, and I'm like, obviously we're kind of doing something right for you to hit us up.
Yeah, for sure. We've been seeing you guys, and we've been talking and stuff like that here and there on Instagram and stuff. And
right.
We just really love your family. I think you guys are amazing. You know what I mean? Just all the pictures and all the interactions that you guys show and stuff like that. We thought you guys would be a perfect fit to come on here and bring hope. So thank you again.
Thank you.
I've definitely loved following you, Chanelle. Like a lot of your content just makes me laugh because I'm a stay-at-home mom as well. And just, you portray the eyes of that position so well and just find the humor in life. And it brings me a lot of joy to follow your account personally.
That makes me so happy.
So we just had to ask a couple of questions, right, about marriage.
No. Yeah, so for sure. Well, I'd like to start off by you guys giving us an example of how it was growing up with you guys in your home, and what you guys see with your parents and stuff like that.
Like how was marriage modeled for you growing up?
Are you going first? My parents have been married. They got married, I think, when they found out I was going to be born, and then had like a little, like more of a Vegas kind of marriage. And then as I was born, or maybe I was a couple years old, they got like remarried in the church and everything. And marriage growing up, to me, like, I don't know if I got the best view of it. My parents kind of fought, or but at the end of the day, they always kind of like stayed together. So I think that was a good thing that they stayed together. But at the same time, I think that they kind of back and forth, like it wasn't the best example, I guess, to where I love my parents and I think they're good people and everything, but when marriage comes in, like I feel like I want so much more, and just to do better, obviously, and I think we always want to do better than our parents, or stuff like that, kind of, I feel.
Are they still together?
Yes.
Wow.
They're still together. I think, man, I'm bad with numbers, but they've been together since, I'm 30 now, so pretty much been married about 30 years. So yeah.
That's good.
That is good. I mean, you don't see that anymore. You know what I mean?
Long-term
That's
marriages.
long-term. That's good. That's good to see.
Yes.
And
Oh yeah, my
yeah,
turn.
how about for you, Chanelle?
Mine's short. My mom was a single mom, so that was, I kind of went back and forth with my mom and then my grandparents raising me. So it wasn't, like Bryan said, wasn't the best example. But now being married, we obviously want the complete opposite of what I had. And, you know, you fight for your marriage and you work on your marriage and the basic.
Yeah.
I like what you said though about fighting for your marriage, because it is. You have to get in there and you have to fight for your marriage.
Yes.
Because it's a lot of work, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of times we make a lot of mistakes and we have to try to fix that, you know what I mean? And do what we need to do to fight for our marriage and put that first, you know, especially with jobs and different stuff going on like that, right? So.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, David and I didn't always have the best examples growing up either. My mom was a single mother as well. She has been married a couple times before, and then, you know, I have a half brother and sister, and, you know, so it's kind of a turmoil type of childhood for me. And then, but David, his parents are still together.
Yeah, they've been together 51 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But they were, I mean, growing up in that household, I mean, my dad was a working man as well. Very old school, raised up, cowboy style, you know what I mean?
Right.
Just very, very cold and militant.
Okay.
So it was a performance-based household. And I'm not trying to bash on my parents at all. They did what they knew to do, right?
Right. Same with mine. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and whatever, I'm still here, I'm healthy and whatever, you know what I mean? But there was a lot of stuff that I brought into our marriage, and that's something that usually happens in marriages, right? We bring the baggage that we were raised with.
And you don't realize that either. You do not realize it until you're like, you're in it, and then you're kind of like, oh, okay, this is, now we're repeating this. And
it's kind of weird. I feel like I thought everything was right. And then now as we're growing and like, I feel like we're a married couple, like kind of married family, like we're kind of under construction in a way, like we're
constant construction.
We're always kind of finding something that was wrong that we were taught, and it's like we're understanding that it was wrong, and we're trying to like break the cycle and just, you know, like make better human beings. And like we came out pretty good, I feel like, you know, but we always want to better ourselves and better our kids to where they become better, and like, you know, just
you're not the ones trying to. I saw the saying, what is the saying, like heal yourself before you have kids that have to like heal as adults. I didn't see that until I was an adult and already married with kids, and then it's like, oh, awesome, now it's like we're gonna pass that down to our kids. So then I think that's when the wheels start turning, and you're like, there's kids that depend on us and are looking up to us for what to do, and we have to teach them the right way, so they're not adults like, oh crap, you know, I have all this stuff that I need to work on, and my parents never taught me or said, you know, this is what you need to do.
Yeah, definitely. I know it's amazing too how when you go into marriage, you kind of have this idea of like what you think it's going to be, and then you realize like marriage just kind of triggers you a bunch and children trigger you a bunch, and it really just perpetuates growth if you're willing to look at it that way. Like it's for growth. Like these are areas I need to work on, not offense. You're a screwed up person, get away from me.
But it took us a while to, I think, do you think it took us a while? 11 years in, we're kind of like, okay.
I feel like in the beginning, Chanelle would like call me out a lot and be like, you know, you can't do that, or, you know, what's wrong with you? What are you thinking? Or like, why are you doing this or that? And I would like kind of get mad and be like, you're wrong. Like, you know, and then it took some time to where, you know, we talk about things, and then she'd show me things and be like, you know, I'm not trying to like call you out. I'm not trying to, you know, say you're messed up. Like, let's just kind of work on each other and like, you know, look at, this is something we should try to do or try to be better at and try to show our kids, you know, like, that's something that I know in our marriage, at least, something that I've noticed that we are kind of overcoming, and we're constantly still working on. Like, she'll send me like a post on Instagram, and it's like something about like your kids and how, you know, you might be mad and they might be crying, and you're gonna say, hey, stop crying. And it's just like, you're capping their feelings right there. Like, you know, and I'm in my head, I'm like, I'm raising my son, he's 3 years old, and I'm like, he's crying. Hey, you need to toughen up, little man. You know, like,
yeah. Like, and the mom comes in and I'm like, he has feelings.
Yeah. And I'm not a real big feeling type of guy.
No. Yeah, me either.
So she's been telling me a lot, you know, hey, like, let him cry, you know, like, whatever, like, let him have feelings, because you don't have them. And it's, you know, our marriage has faults, and it's like some of the faults are like me being so closed off and not having feelings, kind of, in a way. Like, I have feelings.
He keeps them to himself, and I'm like,
yeah,
that is what marriage is. I'm here for you, and I'm like, you know, no judgment, just talk to me when you need to talk to me. And he's just like, good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. And it drives me nuts.
I don't want to be vulnerable.
Yeah. And that's what we were taught our whole lives. And now I'm trying to like not teach my kids that, and I'm trying not to be that, but I'm still that. And hopefully my kids, you know, have her and don't come out like.
Well, the crazy part is that you're working on it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you're aware of it. I think a lot of times, you know, we say God has a sense of humor because he puts these beautiful gifts into our lives, right? Our children. And we see some stuff in them that we don't like. But what he's trying to say is, hey, man, this is something that are lacking in your life.
It's a mirror.
Yeah. It's a mirror. Exactly.
Yeah. It's interesting too, because we've gone through the same thing with in our marriage. Like, and David would say things like, yeah, it's almost like you need to feel the feelings for me, and then God, show me that I'm this way.
You guys are the same person.
Yeah.
Yes. And a lot of men are actually like that. It's like God has given us as wives to them to help them understand their own feelings, because they grew up in a society that really has taught boys to suppress their feelings.
Right, exactly.
Well, I think a lot of times too, because we're, you know, out there providing, protecting, all these different hats that we have to wear, right? A lot of times those feelings get thrown to the back burner because we're constantly trying to react instead of respond. You know what I'm saying? And that's where our wives come in hand, is helping us to understand it's better to respond than be reactional. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no. And then also too, like my wife, she'll talk to me a lot. Chanelle will talk to me a lot about you know, what she's going through, and I can't. It
wasn't always that way though either.
And like she'll tell me what's going on, and I'll be like, man, like if I have something going on, I'm like, I'm not gonna add to that. Like, she told me that she's stressing about this or that family item, or you know, whatever it may be, and then I'm thinking in my head about maybe that moment that I have that I'm kind of got on my mind, and I'm like, this isn't the time for me to talk about this. Like, she's got plenty of other stuff going on. I don't want to add to it, but she's constantly telling me.
But I'm still telling him, like, go tell me, please. Go ahead and tell me.
Yeah, and sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. Something I'm still working on for sure.
Yeah. Wow. We definitely. I feel you on that part, because I've always been like, David, I want to know what's going on, and he would, I think, what was the thinking that you had? Was it like you needed to portray that you had it together because you're the leader of the family? And like, if I knew that you were struggling with some worries, then you didn't want to add to it, or I don't know. How would you say it to me?
Well, it's exactly like how Bryan said it. You know what I mean? You start hearing that you are heightened, I guess would be a good word for that, right? Where you got something that's really bothering you, right?
Yeah.
And for me, who you're looking to me for support, otherwise, you know what I mean? You're coming to me to talk to me, and then for me to voice that, hey man, I'm messed up right now as well, you know what I mean? And I gotta have to portray that, hey man, I got everything all together, everything's going good. You know, I don't want to worry you even more than what you already are worrying about right now. So that's why I kind of like bottle it up. And for whatever reason, I didn't want to let her know that, man, I'm freaking drowning. You know, one of the best examples I've heard from a good friend of mine, he said that, man, I'm like a turtle. On the surface, I'm calm, cool, collective. Just
No, like a duck,
or
wasn't it?
no, it was a turtle. He's like, but below the surface, I'm paddling like hell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think for women, we want like to know we're not the only one freaking out.
I tell him that, and he's like,
yeah,
I'm fine. And I'm like, oh, awesome. I'm
yeah.
not alone.
Like you kind of want to go to your husband and be like, hey, I'm like freaking out about this and this and this. And then if he says, yeah, I've got some worries on my mind too, let's talk about it. Yes. Then it's like, okay, now I can talk about my problems and release them and we're good. Like, yeah, I'm not the only one freaking out now. Right. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. No,
that's definitely.
They're both like, yeah.
That's definitely a learning curve that I'm working on.
Yeah. I love that you guys are really insightful to where you're at in your marriage and knowing and recognizing that it does take work, because so often I feel there's this preconceived idea that society has put on people where it's like, if you married the right person, it's easy.
Yes.
And that's not the truth at all. Like if you look at people's lives and where they're successful, if you're successful, that's an area that you've worked hard in.
Right.
For your career, for your body. Like if you're working hard in the gym, like you're working at it regularly. If you have really worked hard in your career, there's going to be an aspect of success in there.
Yeah.
And they completely bypass that whole idea when it comes to marriage. It's like, if you just married the right person, it's so easy. And that's not true.
And I also feel like we're in a society right now that I feel like the younger generations don't want to get married because it's put out there so much. Like, don't be tied down. You don't need to have kids. Don't, like, I don't understand it. I wanted to be married since I was little, and I wanted to have that bond with someone and have kids and, watch those generations and, just go through it all. And so it blows my mind and it makes me really sad because I'm like, what is this? How it's going to be for our kids? Like, they're going to come to us and be like, I have no interest in being married. And, that sounds, you know what I mean?
It's
like,
scary. It's scary.
So sad.
The world we live in it's like drastically changing. I feel like since we were kids to now, like in the course of 20 years, it's been like a drastic change. And I feel like, at least, I think both of us were like instilled with those same like values and stuff, like in marriage and love and family and just growing and seeing our kids grow and their kids grow, and like that's like a huge goal. Like it's not like where now I feel like a lot of young kids are like party and
and especially women are like out, I don't need a man, I can do, I can do it myself and like
it's so sad too, because all the younger girls are really like anti-children.
Yes, and we get like such weird comments when we're out, or like even when I'm out by myself with the kids. Okay, no, it's so fun.
No, it's great and we love it. But yeah, I see it a lot, like young women now. I mean, I guess it's cool to like women to like want to get a good career and a good job and do great.
You can do both though.
But I feel like you could do it and then maybe make a family too and take a break and then go back to, I don't really know, but I see it a lot where society wants you to like be a woman that is just a worker, and then I mean men are already workers, like it's like I don't know.
But we obviously got married young and we had kids young. And since we've had one or 5, we always get the comment like, why do you guys have so many kids? Like, why do you have 5 kids? And it's like because we would like to have a big family. We're married, that's what we want. And it's so weird to me.
We're excited to like have our family, have our kids grow, and then like it excites me to like think about the future, like grandkids, you know,
Yeah.
like big family parties, you know, like our little tight knit family kind of growing. Like that's really cool to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, like holidays are off the hook in your house, I bet.
Yeah.
It's probably so much fun. I mean, I didn't grow up with a big family, like not an extended family or anything like that. My parents always kind of because their family situation was so toxic, we didn't know our aunts and uncles and cousins and things like that. But when I got married to David, they have like this extended family where everybody comes together on all
everybody's
these, like,
yelling
and it's such a fulfilling, beautiful thing.
It is
to really be part of a big family. So I see all the joys and benefit. Yeah, there are some struggles that probably come with that. I'm sure it's not easy at times, right, Chanelle? Navigating 5 babies.
Oh,
you know what I mean? But I mean, I could definitely see all the joys that come with that.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like you said, with like you had your toxic childhood. That's exactly me. That's my childhood. And we did have the extended family, but it was like toxic extended family. So you didn't really miss out on much there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we have one sibling each. He has a sister, I have a brother. They're, what are they, 6 years apart?
Yeah, they're 6 years younger than us.
They're 6 years younger. It's like the same. And you know, they're both kind of the same as like they don't want kids. They're good with like not having kids. And so we're having the kids for everyone, I guess.
Yeah.
They love our kids too.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool. They, you know, they love being aunt and uncle, and it's really cool. But yeah, I think when we were younger too, like when we were dating, we talked about it, but we both had the same thing where we both had one brother, one sister, whatever. And we always craved to have a big family. Like we wanted, you know, I wanted 4 kids at least, you know, and then we always talk about she wanted a bigger family too. So it's cool that we're both on kind of the same page. You know?
That is really awesome. It's great to see couples on the same page, and especially that you guys talked about it early on. So are you guys going to stop at 5, or do you think that you guys want more?
I think we're
Dylan said no.
Kind of just kind of playing it by ear in a way. Like,
it's not a no, but it's not like we're trying for more.
Yeah. I actually really love babies too. My daughter will go through the store and we'll look at like all the baby clothes, and she'll be like, "Oh, mom, look at all the clothes." And I wish we could have more, but I think now that our youngest is going to be 8 next week, and so it would just be really hard to start over again. It's nice when you have them closer together, I think.
Everybody's in diapers.
Exactly.
I can't imagine waiting and then being like, "Oh, let's do it again."
Yeah.
I feel like at one point we were buying 3 diapers.
No, we weren't.
We weren't. I know 2. It was always 2, but I feel like at one point we were buying diapers for 3 kids.
Yeah, because our kids are 2 years apart, so it's like
it's
diapers, potty train, diapers, potty train.
Like
It works.
Maybe it was Ella when she was getting out of the big diapers. It was wild. It was wild. It was great though, but like we never forgot how to change a diaper. You know?
Need someone to change a diaper. We got you.
So
what are some tips that you guys do to navigate it all? Because you have a busy life.
Yeah.
Chanelle was telling me a couple of the things she had for the week and your schedule, and it's very busy. So what are some things that you guys do to navigate it and support each other?
He cuts a lot. No, I'm just kidding.
It's just constant go. I feel
like constantly. There's no time to like stop and think of like, how are we doing this? It's just kind of like you got to get it done.
And you got to keep going. Like you can't. I don't know. You just can't come with the mentality that you're gonna chill. Like it's just
there's no
skill.
There's no chill. And even like from the time you wake up till, you know, maybe 8 or 9 at night, you know, everyone's kind of getting in bed. But even then, like, you know, we try to like set aside a half hour show, or a movie or something at the end of the night,
anything,
just to like, that's our chill, and like, watch a movie. And sometimes it's 11 o'clock when that's over, and then you go to bed.
He's asleep.
Or I
watching the show.
Yeah,
that's like me, huh?
Yeah, he crashes out the moment he sits down. He's like, oh.
Exactly.
Yeah, it takes us 3 days to watch a movie.
I know. I'm like, where did we leave off?
Yeah,
we're just gonna go to sleep again.
So I guess pretty much it's just just keep going and just keep doing whatever it may be, whether it's trying to clean up the house a little bit, or taking the kids outside and running around a little bit, or
just constant.
Just do it. Like like I said, I heard a saying that somebody said on here, I think it was, and they were talking about, you work 10, 12 hours and you want to come home and sit down on the couch and drink a beer. Sounds great. But when you have a family, you got to come home and, either change a kid's diaper, pick up a few things around the house, whatever it is, you just got to do it. And you don't want to, but just do it. Because if you were at work and you're working 10 hours and they ask you to work 12, you're going to do it. Like, no problem, and it's like, sure, you're making $100 an hour or whatever it may be. Like, when you come home, you're making time with your kids. You're making, it's worth more than $100 an hour at home, and in a whole. So you just got to do it, pretty much.
I love that you guys said that even if it's just a half an hour to watch a movie together, you guys actually like carve out that time. Even if it takes you 3 days to watch a full movie, you guys are actually taking out time, even if it's just a half an hour together, to be together, which is great. Because I think a lot of people are just like, all right, all the work's done, let's go to bed. And like, not spend any time at all with their spouse,
And we kind of like work at each other too, because we'll sit there and watch a TV show and sit on our phones,
Yeah, because, that's hard too.
And we'll like both like kind of like, hey,
are you watching this?
Hey, you get off your phone. Hey, you get off your phone, and then we'll both kind of get crabby at each other.
And then we both doze off.
Yeah, and then we just both
both
kind of lean on each other, and we both fall asleep. But I mean, it's cool. Like, it's just, we want to be together. We want to, hang out. We love each other. We like it. So.
It's amazing how when you're married like that and you're invested like that, how you don't want to leave the other person. Like for me, even when I used to go on the road a lot, I just wanted to be with her.
Oh yeah.
Even now it's like, can I just hang out with you? You know what I mean? I just, she's like my best friend, you know what I mean? And I just always want to be around her,
Yeah. I love hanging out with him, but, and I'm not saying this like in a negative light. It's funny though, because on his days off, like if he is off on a day where he feels sick or something like that, I have a whole day planned for me because I know he's going to be at work that day, but he's home because he's sick. And all of a sudden he now wants to be with me that entire day.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, I love you so much and I want to spend time with you, but I've really had to learn to speak up for myself and be like, I can't like not do the things that I need to do just to be with you in these moments.
Yeah. I'm disrupting her program.
Yeah. Because I'm so used to like
you have your schedule set. And you're like, okay, wait a minute. Hold on.
Yeah.
It's funny that you said that because I just told you last night and it's taken me a long time to get, like how you just said, you have to learn to speak up for yourself.
Yes.
Their hours are crazy. So when he was home, like if he'd get home early, I always felt like I was like, oh, we have to be home now because your dad's home.
Yes.
And now, he was gone last week when you worked up in, where were you, Palm Springs? He was gone a week. And I was like, okay, we have softball, we have t-ball, we have gymnastics, we have homeschool. Like, I have to do it. He's not here. So I kind of started getting into like, you don't have to rely on him. And that sounds really bad. but I was like, we don't have to rush home and be there when he's there. Things still have to get done.
Yes.
And that I think is really helpful because then it's kind of, you have to figure out your individual routines too as separate people and not just be like, I want to be there with you every second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As much as you want to, it's not reality.
It's not reality.
Yeah. I mean, it's so interesting how that works for the women, because a lot of women are like, well, if my husband's home, I want to be home. And
Right.
that's how I was too. And then I would find myself kind of resentful because I'm like, okay, I didn't get anything done. I
Right.
just was with him and now I'm totally backed up on everything that I need to do. And that would end up causing like issues, huh?
Yeah,
Because I'd
exactly.
be like bugged with you. I'm like, now you're home now. Like, I love you. I want to be with you.
It's
We
a
want to
lot.
stay home, but now I'm bugged because I didn't stand up for myself and do what I need to do.
And I'm over there thinking, man, I never get to see you. I'm always working, and I'm trying to spend time here. You're complaining
Yeah.
about me spending time, and now you're bugged with me.
Yeah.
And so it kind of had this like crazy effect, huh?
Yeah, but it was because I wasn't speaking up and saying, you know what, I
Yeah.
actually have all these things to do. I was just giving in and I'm like, yeah, I want to be with you too.
You're like, it's okay.
Yeah.
We'll do a different day.
And like we work so much, and I'm really like that too. Like, well, I put a lot of goals to myself, like things to do,
Yeah.
like things that like kind of don't matter that much. Like I feel like I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna get home from work. I'm gonna change the oil in the car. I'm gonna cut the grass. I'm gonna clean the garage. I'm gonna pull all the weeds. Like I'll give myself 100 of these things. Then I get home and it's like Chanelle will like be like just wrecked from the day, and she'll throw the baby at me, and I'm like, okay, like like I just kind of like I've gotten like a little resentful a couple times. I'm like, man, I really wanted to get this stuff done.
You really
Yeah.
want the grass.
And then you're just like, you just gotta kind of like roll with it. I feel
Yeah.
like as a married man or
Yeah.
a couple, like just roll with it. Just like you'll get to it one day. Like like
Yeah.
maybe you won't. I don't know, but like I have a huge list of stuff, but I feel like what we do, we work so much, and you maybe have a list of things you want to do, but you have kids, like
Yeah.
realize you're not always going to get
It's
to
not
those
going to
things.
happen. Just like the house,
And
it's never clean.
you might have to pay
Yeah.
someone to do it. Like that's how I feel too.
Yeah. I love that you said that though, because the reality is you do have to ebb and flow
Yeah.
with your partner, with the demands of the family, with the demands of your job. There's an ebb and flow, and it's healthy. And like some people really, like David, you would get really stuck in your routine. And if you didn't get to do your routine, it would bother you. And so then that ebb and flow wasn't really very like stretchy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was not very pliable at all.
Yeah.
It was like, this needs to be taking place. This needs to be done.
Yeah.
And it was very rigid.
Yeah, because the way he functions is if he starts a task, it has to be done.
Yeah.
It needs to be finished. It needs to be completed. Like he would start, like we used to have like a couple acres of land before we moved here to California. And he started on this Latia coyote fence where you put up these big poles of wood.
Yeah.
One after another. And he started this project of encamping our whole property with this fence. And he worked out of town at the time. He would come home, go to the forest, have his permit for his wood, get all the wood, bring it home, be erecting this fence nonstop until it was done. Like, how long did it take you? A couple months?
Yeah, it took me a couple months.
And he could not function until it was done. It was like,
it bothered me to see something not complete. Oh man, it would eat at me, dude, for real.
And then it wasn't just, I'm going to work on this. Everybody come outside and work on this.
Well, I had to incorporate them. You know what I mean? I wanted them around me. So guess what? Everybody
wanted them around.
Yeah. Come on.
Like, no, thank you. I'm good.
Get your hammer. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's definitely worked on the pliability, huh, babe?
Oh, I had to, man. It was crazy.
And I've had to too. I've had to really work on my rigidity.
That's crazy though. Like I see the same issues like in other linemen, you know what I mean? Where we have to see something when we start something, we have to see it through. You know what I mean? But it's important to be able to be pliable. So.
Yeah. And I love that, Bryan, you see that the family has needs and the babies need time. And what was it? Tim Arrigo said that really driven men have a tendency to think that they have more time than what they actually do. Mm-hmm. And so then time just kind of flies past them. and they're missing out on life with their kids and things because they think, oh, I'll get to it later.
Yeah. Next week we'll do that. I got this. You always think you have more time. So
yeah.
I feel like old timers or other people, or your wives probably too, will always tell you about that. Like you always hear about it, and you're never, at least in my situation, not until you see it happening is when you're like, oh man, like I missed out on this, I missed out on that, and you can't go back, and it that sucks. That's hard. Like anytime I work too much, or I have to work on significant days or whatever, like I don't like it. I don't know. And I'm like, it took me a while to realize, I feel like that, those days, like whatever you're getting paid that day, like it's not, they're like, the day is worth more, and I'm still like working at it, and you still got bills to pay, you still got food to put on the table, so you can't get them all. But there's definitely some where it's just like, if you have Saturday off and
like
it's
Asher's T-ball
it's your kid, it's your kid's game yesterday, like, you're not gonna sign up to go work call outs, like, like you already have the day off, like why would you do that? You know what I mean? And there's a lot of goal oriented people out there that are gonna, go do that, and I mean, to each its own. Some people are real goal oriented, and they have a goal, and they're gonna miss a lot of their kids' lives or whatever. And I get it, and I'll be back and forth sometimes, I feel like, but I feel like now I have 5 kids, and I've missed a lot of my earlier daughter's stuff, and because I was an apprentice, and as an apprentice you don't say no to call outs, you do all the call outs, and I worked like a year. Remember, I worked like a year straight one time, 7 days a week, and she was like, this is it, like, and the paychecks were great. It was awesome.
But it's not worth it.
We have nothing. I have nothing to show for those paychecks or whatever, and I missed a lot. I feel like I missed a lot of my kids' stuff, and I still do. Like, but we just, as men, we gotta,
He's a lot better at it though now. He takes the time, and if I tell him, Asher's first game, our 3-year-old just had his first T-ball game yesterday, and I'm like, you can't miss this. If you need to go to work afterwards, go ahead, but you cannot miss it, because he's like so ready and so depending on you being there, and he makes the time to do it.
Right.
They're excited. Like the kids are excited. It's awesome. Like, like you remember when you're a kid and like you're too cool for your parents when you're like, 14, 12, whatever. I can't stomach missing these moments. Like, like yesterday, like I went to my son's T-ball game, but I had to drop my daughter off at her softball game, and like she had like that warm up. My son was playing during the warm up, so she was telling me that he was like where's dad? Where's he at? You know what I mean? And then I got there, and he's like, yeah, dad, like it's the best, and then like when you get home, you get that same energy. Like you walk in the door, and your kids are like,
they're so pumped to see dad
running, and like, hi dad, like, yeah, like, it's cool.
It's crazy the effect that a father has on her child. My dad didn't really make a lot of our stuff, but I remember thinking like that too when I did see him a couple times. It was a good feeling. It was like, all right, that's my dad. I'm gonna do good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some other stories too where he was completely opposite. It's like, I'm glad he's not here. You know what I mean? But for the most part, that's the amount of influence we have over our children. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know that my sons, when I'd go on the road and stuff like that, they'd be constantly asking my wife, where's daddy? When's he going to come home? When's he going to come home? You know what I mean? So
yeah, your absence is definitely felt when you're not there. Like I can remember for any sporting events that I had, my parents were never there.
Right.
Ever. And the absence was felt. Like you definitely know, like, it's even if you don't fully conceptualize it and understand it as a kid, you feel that void.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it is important. And I'm glad that you guys have communication to where Chanelle, you're like on it. It sounds like you let him know ahead of time. So he can plan, which is great because I got to be honest, I haven't really been telling you very often, oh yeah, Nakota has this or Nakota has that. Because right now, our daughter, she's 17, it's her senior year, and she's a cheerleader, and it is just pedal to the metal. Holy cow. But I mean, for the really special ones, I try to tell him about it.
Yeah. For the most part, I try to make every single one of them. You know what I mean? So that's always a plus, though, when you have ahead of time planning.
Yeah,
so.
Because you missed so much, like in the early years, like what you're saying. When you're an apprentice, there's not really room to say, I can't go to this.
And then like apprentices now too, like I feel like it's changing a little bit. They're like kind of not some apprentices, not all of them. They're like they don't want to do the call outs, or they won't answer their phones or whatever. And it's like, dude, when I was doing it, like I was brought up by some good guys, and they were telling me like, dude, it's not like it sucks, but like you got to do it, because in 2.5 years from now, or 2 years, whatever it was at that time, everyone's going to expect you to know what you're doing. And it's true. Like, and you might not, you might have guys that don't know what they're doing and they're learning and stuff too. But I always thought of it as, I got to learn all I can as an apprentice so that I could be safe, know what I'm doing when I'm a journeyman. And I mean, even now, like there's stuff I still learn. You learn every day, you know, but for like the meat and potatoes of it, like I knew what I was doing. I knew what not to do and how to do most of it. So that part worked out, where I worked a lot and I missed a lot of my kids' stuff. So,
but we would rather him, or we would rather have him be there learning as much as he possibly can, and actually coming home because he knew what he was supposed to do, and he was, oh, I need to be home. You know, I always would tell him too, as an apprentice, I'd be like, don't rush home, just do what you need to do. Don't rush. Learn, stay if you need to, just don't rush it.
Yeah, that's so important. I think you having the understanding of the dangerous environment that he's working in is a huge part of the support that he probably feels. I don't know if you do this as well, but when David was out of town working and stuff, I would try to save a lot of the problems for when he got home for the weekend, so we could discuss it then. Because if he was thinking about those problems
at work,
I didn't want to put him in a bad headspace, you know, to put himself in danger. So I don't know if you tried to do that same thing too, or
but that definitely was a learning experience too. Just like with going to the apprenticeship, I'm like, you know, we had no idea what he was getting into. So we were like living on the road with him. We had 2 little girls. I was pregnant, and I was like, you know, other people are doing it, you can do it, which was very obviously naive, and just, I didn't know what I was talking about. But then he would come home and tell me certain situations, and I'm like, oh crap, like this is not something to be taken lightly. So I think, like over the years, it's kind of like, you know, I need him in the correct headspace. It doesn't always work to where I save the issues for when he gets home, but I try my hardest and talk about it, because too, it's like they get home and they don't want to hear her crap, you know, they want to, we've had a long day. So it's kind of like juggling, do I lay it on him here, or do I tell him when he gets home and he's like trying to freaking relax, and we're trying to, you know, get into like the family life and not bring it up now. So it's definitely a challenge sometimes.
It is. It's definitely a balancing act. When would you usually prefer I told you?
After a couple hours, possibly even the next day. Because I was trying, like when I remember, you know, thinking back when I'd get home, all I could do is just think about what we're going to do. I wanted to come home. If I came home at a decent hour, I wanted to take the family out. That was our routine. Take them out to go eat dinner or whatever. You know what I mean? And I just wanted to have my family time. You know what I mean? And for you to bombard me right there would have just kind of totally just set me in a different mind space. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was usually like after the kids were away, you know what I mean, after we put them to
Sleeping.
sleep or whatever like that, is when it was a good time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But not right away, not at the door, like, hey, you son of a, you know what I mean? You have any idea what I've been through this week? You know?
Yeah. One of the things that I noticed with Chanelle is that, like, early on, we would, you know, you have marital issues. Like, everyone's got problems. Everyone fights. Everyone argues, whatever. We both are different, very different people.
Very different.
And we would get into it, you know, and like have little problems. And I tell her, like, hey, like, can we like have a bad afternoon and like kind of like patch up a little at night? And we didn't always do that, to where I go to work the next day and like your head is not there at all.
Yeah.
And but through time, we've both really talked about it, and I've tried to work on it a little bit to where now I feel like now we don't have as bad times, because I mean, you know, your marriage progresses and you don't always have bad times, but like you don't have as bad times. And I've tried to talk to her about it, like, hey, like, you put me in a really bad spot, and then I got to go to work, and I just got to like pick up everything and go. And like, if my head's not in the right spot, like it's harder, you know. And so she sees that kind of mid through my apprenticeship or whatever. She started seeing that, and like I think working a little better, like it's probably a lot of work for her to, you know, be mad at me or, you know, get in a fight or whatever, and then try to like kind of smooth it out a little bit. That way I could, you know, go to work and have a good day. So part of marriage, I guess, you know, like it's not easy. I was just saying, I heard that electricity travels at, you know, I don't even remember the exact miles per hour or whatever it is, like 3,000 kilometers per hour or something like that. But you know, kill you faster is your wife, you know, like.
Oh, wow.
Somebody said that. Wow. And it was like, I was at the school, and somebody said that. They're like, get in a good space. Like, don't go out to the bar and drink and get in a fight with your girlfriend or your wife. Like, do the right thing, you know? And like, I heard that and I was like, man, that's true. Like, you should try to be a good guy, and, you know, just try to not put yourself in those situations, you know. And well, you know, we do, you know, and we just try to work through it, you know.
Yeah, for sure. No one's perfect, you know. I think the big thing though is just having that open communication, like you guys talked about, and what we say on our program, and really being able to verbalize when something's going on in a safe manner, right?
Yeah, we were not.
He didn't know how to argue safe at all.
No.
She's very hot-headed. She's Irish, and me, I'm.
Same.
I'm hot-headed and Irish too.
I get it.
Yeah. So trial and error, just like you said, and I think that's really the basis of like a good marriage. A good marriage isn't two perfect people. It's two people that are willing to take it, you know, accountability for their own faults and then grow from them, and you know, work towards being better. Just like you said, it wasn't perfect in the beginning, but you guys have gotten better. It's gotten easier to talk about these things, and that's where people should have hope. Like, it does get better through the years. Like, we've been married, we just celebrated 18 years.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Thank you,
man. Thank you. A lot of the beginning years were really hard, you know, but now I can say we're really starting to get into a space where communication is more open. We have better understanding of each other. Doesn't mean every day's perfect. We do still have days where we bicker and stuff, but I mean, you just continue to learn and grow and navigate the family and grow and grow and grow. And I think it benefits you as an individual to be able to grow in a relationship.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, one of the big things I always like to tell like people that were talking about marriage and stuff like that is, and it's true, it's biblical, is love covers a multitude of sins. Man, when you truly love your spouse, you're not going to hold those, you know, little things over their head. You're not going to hold them to where you're constantly in an offense with them. You know what I mean? The little things, even the big things, you know what I mean? If you can forgive quick, I think your marriage is going to be a lot more better. You know what I'm saying?
I think that works great when both people have that mindset.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. Yeah, it takes two, right?
Right. Yeah.
But it does. I mean, love is amazing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And when you can love your spouse like that,
it's definitely worth it.
it's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
But it takes time. It takes work.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's a lot of work. Yeah.
and
But
it's constant. It's not just like, oh, this problem's fixed and we're good now. It's a constant. There's always something that you need to work on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like parenting, or if it's just within your marriage and you don't have kids, it's constant, and it's learning and it's growing, and yeah.
Yeah, there's like recurring problems too.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, but
Yep.
there's love to where it's like you both want to better that recurring problem, or
Yeah.
you both want to get through it. And
Yeah.
I'm glad we have that, because that's a lot of people don't have that now. Everyone's like, oh, there's a problem. All right, we're out.
Yeah.
Let's go
Yeah.
later. Let's go to the, let's go get the divorce or whatever, and
Yeah.
so
Too many are too quick to do that, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a word I think that couples should take off the table is divorce.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That you should have a plan B. You know what I mean? When you get married, we're gonna work at this. You know what I mean? Unless, of course, it's like abusive and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I
And
mean?
we've been there, like,
Mhm.
also the word at me a few times, like
Won't even lie.
I've had my days where
Yeah, us too.
or whatever, and
Yeah.
but we always try to get through it, and we always want to get through it, like overall. Like I think overall we always have it, the plan is, to make it all the way. I always tell Chanelle about, like, one day we're gonna have that big acre farmhouse, porch with the swing,
Yeah.
hanging from it, and me and you rocking on it, and we're gonna be old and gray, and it's gonna be great. Like that's something we talk about here and there, a reminder about that. And but we hit those days where it's like, that's it.
There's definitely days where it's like, okay, you're done.
Yeah, we definitely do. We've been there too. Like,
Oh yeah.
you're just like, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was always a choice. Life is hard. Anything is going to be hard. It's hard to be single. It's hard to raise kids single. It's hard to be married. I mean, there's a lot of different roads that you can take, and it's not necessarily going to be easier.
Yep.
Right.
Gotta choose your hard.
Yeah,
Right.
you do. You choose your hard. And I think, Chanelle, you summed it up right in the beginning of this podcast, was you just keep fighting for your marriage. And I just feel like your guys' marriage and story, and you being so young with a beautiful big family, it's so inspiring to hear you guys talk, and the way you support each other, and just the chemistry that you guys have. It's really beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But right now, we're coming to the end of the podcast. What is one bit of advice from each one of you that you can share with our audience, that
like the newly married couples or people coming into the apprenticeship?
Communicate. I think that's the most important thing for a marriage.
Okay.
If you're not, you need to learn to communicate, because that is what is going to be your basics to get you where you need to be.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I would say just try to, like, do it. Like, I don't know, like,
just do it.
Don't get so wrapped up into the work. Like early on, I was worried about, like, being an apprentice, and we were going to go on the road. They had told me I was going far, and I was like, man, I don't have a backup plan. I'm going to go back to working in a factory making $12 an hour. Like, maybe I should leave my wife and go Airbnb or hit the hotels and whatnot, and just be focused on the job and getting it done. And then, we talked about getting a trailer, and we got a trailer, and we trailered around and went different areas, and I had my kids with me. And I thought about it, like, midway. I'm like, that would have been 100 times worse. Like, because just like the little jobs you get sent on that you're away from, wherever you're at. They're like, oh, we're going to go work a week, 100 miles away. Yeah. And then you get a hotel, and then you're, you don't feel good because you don't have your wife. You don't lay with your wife. You don't, get to see your kids physically, and you FaceTime or whatever. But yeah, I would say if you're a newlywed, if you have a family or whatever, you know, like get a trailer, stay together, because you know, guys even told me there's a lot of temptation on the road, and you know, seeing things you don't want to do, and you know, if you go home to your wife and your kids every night, you know, it'll be a little less tempted to do those things you shouldn't be doing, you know. And
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That is really great advice.
Great advice. Yeah.
Great advice from both of you. That's awesome.
Well, once again, guys, thank you for coming on our show and just sharing what you guys do to be successful. And we appreciate you guys. And man, just keep rocking it. You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
That's the plan. Thank you. Thank you guys for what you do too, and showing everyone, telling everyone about this, making good people, you know.
I hope so.
You know.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon.
All right, sounds good.
Bye.
Bye.